What is God really like? At his core? Is he balancing love with justice? Or is he goodness itself? To answer that, we begin with Jesus. Because Jesus is the clearest revelation of God. In the Gospel of Matthew, he moves among people, healing everyone. The sick, the broken, the outcast. He forgives sinners, often before they even ask. This isn't cautious mercy. This isn't selective compassion. This is a flood of goodness. And in the Gospel of John, we are told something revolutionary. God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save it. In Jesus, we never see violence. We never see revenge. We never see him destroying his enemies. We see him loving them. But what about the flood? In the book of Genesis, it is described as a global catastrophe, wiping out all life. Traditionally, God is seen as the one who caused it. But how does that align with Jesus? Because the flood didn't just affect violent people. It destroyed animals, ecosystems, the entire planet. And yet, it didn't solve the problem of evil. Violence returned almost immediately. So was this really God's method? Jesus introduces another dimension, a real active enemy. He calls Satan the ruler of this world. And the New Testament speaks of unseen forces at work. Forces that destroy, deceive, and corrupt. So a supernatural catastrophe does not automatically mean God caused it. What if instead, human corruption led to a collapse of the world as it was, and God in love warned Noah and provided a way of escape? Then the ark becomes not an instrument of destruction, but a refuge of grace, and the rainbow as a reminder of God's goodness, even in catastrophe. Now consider another difficult question. Did God command genocide? In the book of Deuteronomy and first book of Samuel, we read commands to destroy entire nations. At first glance, this seems undeniable. But look deeper. In the book of Exodus, God had already promised to drive those nations out without Israel fighting. Little by little, over time. Israel had seen this before, when God delivered them from Egypt without their help. So why did they end up fighting? Because they chose to. And God, as he often did, with kingship, sacrifice, even law, allowed them to move forward within their own hardness of heart. He accommodated, without forcing. Jesus says, love your enemies. Put away your sword. The Son of Man did not come to destroy lives, but to save them. And in the Gospel of John, he draws a clear line. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But I have come that they may have life. So can God command genocide and then reveal himself in Jesus as self-giving love? Or were ancient writers sometimes describing real events, but attributing the cause in ways that reflected their limited understanding? Jesus gives us the clearest lens. And through that lens, God is not the destroyer. He is the restorer. And finally, what about the end of the world? In the second epistle of Peter and the book of Revelation, we read about fire, judgment, and the destruction of the earth. Many assume God is the direct cause. But again, look closely. The text often describes what happens, without clearly stating that God is the one causing it. And the fire itself destroys death and the grave, something literal fire cannot do, suggesting something deeper, even symbolic. Now return to Jesus. He never used violence. He rebuked those who wanted to call down fire. He forgave his enemies. even while being executed. So can the same God suddenly become violent at the end? Or is something else happening? Scripture reveals unseen powers at work, and humanity capable of unimaginable destruction. And when God gives people over to their choices, the consequences unfold. History has already shown us what humanity can do when unrestrained. So what if the final destruction isn't God attacking humanity, but evil collapsing in on itself? And so, we return to the beginning. What is God really like? Is he divided, torn between love and justice? Or is he, at his very center, good? Jesus says, God is not the author of destruction, he is the giver of life. He does not respond to evil with evil, but overcomes it with love. And the love we see in this world, even the love of a mother for her child, is only a faint reflection of his. So the question is not just theological, it's personal. Will we define God through violence or through Jesus? Because in him, the answer becomes clear. God is not divided. God is not harsh. God is love.